Welcome back, gentlemen and ladies. It's that time of the month where I can play a Bond villain, and it's that time of the month, like I said, so we are spewing the blood of nerddom all over the place, and then we need you, our audience, to be our tampon to stop up all this geekdom that we're going to spew like we do on the last Wednesday of the month. It's that time of the month. It's not Shark Week. It is Nerdherder time. My name is Craig Legans, and with me, as always, is my favorite married couple, Damien Dragon, and his lovely wife, future author, and celebrating her 903rd birthday, Foxy.
Salud.
And Dan Calachico. So, we're starting off. We have a great deal to talk about, since it's been a month since we last saw each other, and it's that time of the month again. So, obviously, things have gone down over the past month that we need to cover. So, Davey and Dame, you have the list of goodness.
I do.
So,
right.
Let's get to it. Let's jump in with both feet.
We just briefly got to mention my current age of 932 years old, because I think the
908.
900 plus, because It is rather funny how, ladies and gentlemen listening and watching this morning, a Twitter follower that I follow and are mutual friends with asked the Twitterverse to drop him some songs that would cheer him up that you liked. So I immediately went my go-to, and I suggested Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Good Vibrations. That song always puts me in a good mood no matter what. To which the follower then said, I'm gonna have to look that up. That's a little before my time.
Ouch! Oh, the huge manatee. My God.
I've never minded my age before at all until that tweet. I'm like, well, damn.
The best thing, it was first thing in the morning while still working on first cup of coffee.
It was.
Before your time, with this person 12.
I don't know. I've heard of it, though. I'm like,
Oh, my God.
You should have gone a step further. Did you know Marky Mark was Mark Wahlberg?
I know, right?
Just to see.
Don't blow their minds. Don't give them too much, okay?
let him see for himself.
They still haven't come down from Mark. Wait a minute, Mark Wahlberg was a rapper? What?
And a Calvin Klein model?
Yes. It reminds me of my 12-year-old boss. Well, she's 25, but she was my boss at the time. I told her about I was wearing a shirt that was too big for me, and I said I look like Tom Hanks in the last scene of Big, and she says, "What's big?"
Oh.
I never saw it. It's what's big.
Oh, my God.
Fox, I feel your pain. It always hurts. It still hurts. I'm so sorry you had to go through that, but welcome to AARP, okay? We got plenty of room for you, all right?
Exactly. All right, so I've got like kind of a smattering of news, some in relation to others. Some will be like, hey, we're gonna only cover this particular point of it because we're probably gonna get into something about it later. Yada 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 yada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first interesting little tidbit that was out early this month was a lot of us saw and kind of got excited by the new. I think we had even mentioned it the last time we were on, was the Marvel Lucha Libre Funko line.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. Well, there's actually more to that now. There's actually more to that because Marvel/Disney is actually looking to jump into the world of wrestling if a collaboration between Marvel and Disney and AAA goes well.
Okay.
And the thing is, it's like, obviously because of the costumes and the way AAA works, this transition is easy. It works. For those that have never followed AAA or don't go as far back with AAA wrestling as I do, this actually wouldn't be the first time they've had like Marvel characters or anything like that. They used to have like a group that was kind of like the X-Men, one guy dressed like Wolverine and everything like that. Of course under different names, whatever. But this is like actually Marvel and Disney's legit jump trying to get into the wrestling industry. And I honestly think what better way to do it than with like Lucha Libre. I think that's the most fitting route to go in terms of like the color and the stylizing and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. And you have masked characters. They pretty much portray these superhero characters in AAA. And luchadors have always been seen as superheroes. They wear the capes, they wear the flashy types, the bright colors, the masks. So they're built-in superheroes. So that's a great marketing move.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's more just Marvel, Disney, just trying to spread that branch out.
Yes, because Lord knows they need the money.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, right. Totally. So that's that one, and then as if I wasn't like excited about like the Funko line as it is, because I got the Deadpool. I always had a Deadpool one already.
No, you.
What?
Really?
You? No.
No.
I would have never picked.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey, that was kind of cool.
You think you know a guy?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Blowing my mind with these new things about you that I should have known all my life.
I know.
I'm blown.
Like
yeah.
nobody.
I'm blown too.
All right. Also, moving on, in this month, of course, we had our annual N7 Day, and there was speculation and teases and rumors the day before, which we kind of knew what it was. And on N7 Day, they dropped the teaser trailer for Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is basically going to be the remastered original trilogy. That is the cool thing that they're doing. They're not just making it for the next gen consoles. This is actually for, like, I would say current gen, because next gen just came out. I'm talking about for us PO people that can't afford the rest of the words on letters on that word. We're PO.
Yeah.
So it will be on Xbox One and it will be on PS4, but as well as your newer systems. I am uber excited about this, and I think I have expressed this more than one occasion throughout the entire history of Nerdherders, how much I love this franchise, and it is the ultimate game out of all of my life gaming. This is like the ultimate gaming franchise for me. I just finished, I don't know, how many number of playthroughs?
At least fifth.
My least fifth or sixth playthrough of Mass Effect 2 just this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that you can play the remastered edition and make the same exact decisions he's made all those other times.
No, that's right.
But with better graphics.
With better graphics. Like, I'm actually intrigued to see like how good the graphics.
It matters.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
But not for nothing. No, Dan. Craig. I don't know if you've played Mass Effect at all, but like Dan, like I don't know if you've jumped back anytime recently on one of the Mass Effect games. Like more specifically, I would say like 2. Like though not great, like the graphics still kind of hold up and look better than some of today's modern games.
I was gonna say the I'll compare it. I'll make a comparison when I'm finished. It still looks very good. It's one of the few games where I've played it without a remaster and hasn't felt like I took 2 steps back and I'm like, this looks like crap.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks very good, and it helped that you had a team that gave a shit about the game. The other one I noticed, we're talking about remasters of some of my favorite games, was the Batman Arkham series. They remastered they remastered Asylum and City, and the thing is, and people took this as well, you must hate it. I'm like, no, you don't understand. The remasters look amazing, but they looked so good in the first place. Like, I got the remaster for the frame rate. I wasn't expecting. There are certain things that I'm like, wow, that looks amazing. But the level design and the way it looks were so not dated that there was very little difference. I mean that in the most positive way possible. If you ever see it, if you haven't gotten it, and there's a cheaper version you can get of the Arkham Remaster, get those games, because I've played those as much as anything else that I've replayed. I've replayed Arkham Asylum like 6 times and City 4 times. And then Mass Effect, that I purposely play Mass Effect over again just to make bad decisions each time.
Well, other cool tidbit with that legendary remaster as well, they've actually brought in veteran game developers on this one. So people that worked on the original trilogy are working on this.
Thank you. I have very little issues now.
And again, and that's where Andromeda fell off, and she and I were like, I say it every time, but it's the like this one, like again, you can't like the writing on Andromeda was so off. Like you didn't care about any of the characters, you didn't like any of the characters. Mass Effect, like you cared about every single character. You cared if they lived or died.
Yeah.
Like like you loved the ones you wanted to love. You hated the ones you were supposed to hate. Like it was like.
But that also,
such good. It was in the writing. It was so good.
Writing aside, Andromeda's voice acting didn't do any better
Andromeda.
either.
Oh.
Everything was so flat. There was reflection. There was nothing to go, oh, so you care about me in this statement? Or how do I respond to this? The voice acting was just as bad.
I mean, shoot. I mean, how many people out of Andromeda came out to be like, nerd celebrities versus like Mass Effect franchise where everybody's like, Mark Meer? Yes.
Or even just the names of the characters.
Yeah, or the names of the characters, yeah. Like, how many characters?
I remember Andromeda coming up and there being no buzz, no discussion afterwards. I saw gameplay on Funhouse. Like, they did it once or twice. And I usually am a guy that's like, I don't care what the critics say. If I want to play something bad enough, I'll play it.
Yeah,
there was zero appeal to me to ever put money into Andromeda, and I really wanted to. I had it ready to go, and then I bailed on it. And I was just like, I'll give you the. I was like, give me the remaster. I'll be happy.
I mean, I was uber. I mean, Dan, you've seen firsthand.
Oh yeah.
Between the Jack tattoo and Paragade logo here, my final wrestling gear was N7 armor inspired. Our cat is named after a character. So yeah, I am a little Mass Effect crazy, but yeah, it was definitely disappointing. But nonetheless, and the great thing is, it's coming out in February of next year. Not that far away.
Just don't get sick.
Or you can play it during the third lockdown.
Yeah.
Oh no, the vaccine will be out by then, so they won't just lock down. They'll just like, no,
not available, not until April.
Oh, that's right. It's not available to us peons yet.
Yeah, only the first responders. So I still got time. Anyway,
making pre-planning is always a good thing.
Exactly. It's called pre-planning, man.
I still got a stack of stuff to do that I still haven't gone through during, lockdowns, which I'll get hit about event one day. There'll be no problem over here. Anyway.
How many rooms I have half painted right now?
Yeah, at least my rooms are painted.
Yeah, mine are half painted.
All right. Well, keeping with the video game feel, which will then actually bleed into our next topic afterwards slightly. Now, I don't watch the promotion. It's nothing personal. Again, it's kind of like, just don't have an interest. But the first teaser trailer for the AEW video game came out. Now, as a nostalgic video game player, and we've talked about, Ukes and THQ and No Mercy and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's on point. It's there. It looks amazing. Like, it definitely looks like a fun video game. They kept that style. They kept that feel. They modernized it a little bit, but it's altogether still there. So I'm sure you guys saw the AEW video game trailer, so go.
I did not see it. And
you did not?
No, but if they use any of the same engine from SmackDown or Shut Your Mouth or Warzone or any of the last WWE games, I'm all on board. I'm not an AEW fan at all.
They used the No Mercy engine, which was the best one. They used the No Mercy one. Mm-hmm. They modernized the look a little bit, and they have the actual game developing teams from those involved with this one.
Okay. Very good.
I can actually comment on this.
Go ahead.
Believe it or not.
Please.
Oh, we want the woman to comment? No, I'm kidding. Go.
Absolutely. While the game itself sounds awesome, that's not going to make any money until years down the road.
Yeah.
Because they're banking on nostalgia of people that have played No Mercy back in the day. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Quite a few of us, but you have a new gaming audience out there who isn't about nostalgia, who want better graphics, who want all these new 4K things.
And the bells and the whistles, yeah.
Yes. Then there's also the fact of, you know, you're at the end of the day still a relatively small company. You are not a WWE. When TNA put out their video game, it sold poorly because you're not WWE.
Yeah.
It's not a game for the casual wrestling fan. Casual wrestling fan are just the ones that watch WWE or will pick up something that's like, oh, a generic wrestling game on Steam. Cool. I'm all about that. This is something that appeals to a very small market because it appeals to AEW fans, but even smaller AEW fans with the nostalgia of a very old N64 game.
Yeah, which is funny you say that, because the reason why they went that route is because Kenny Omega, Cody, the Young Bucks, they're all old school gamers. So of course, you know, they went that route because that was their favorite and that's what they wanted to see out of it as well. So you're right.
On one end, that's great. You got to put out products that you want.
That you yourself would love.
Yes. However, video games and wrestling are a broad market. You know, this is something I'm unfortunately learning at this very second when it comes to marketing. Okay. You need a bigger niche for your brand because right now you're just catering to a small percentage of that brand. So kudos to them. But that's a game that will hit bigger in about 5, maybe even 10 years from now.
It'll kind of be like a sleeper classic, a lot like the one AAA Lucha Libre game that came out. It didn't sell. They didn't make a lot of copies of it, but it turned out to be a lot of fun because it ran off the same engine as the Impact one. But then people saw how fun it was, and everybody went running out to try to find it, and it was impossible to find.
Or even Fire Pro Wrestling.
Or Fire Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
I bought that AAA game day of, and I was like, oh, God.
So, I mean, kudos to them.
I also wanted a counter argument. I was very disappointed that nobody brought up this game, which is arguably miles away from No Mercy.
In English, please.
And
I don't have that one.
It's
I'm
miles.
not racist, but
I'm gonna get. Oh, the reveal's
I
coming.
know what it is. I know what it is. I know what it is.
I went for Craig.
That's kind of racist.
No.
Racist. This is the game that I thought was better than No Mercy, and right on par with my love of WCW NWO Revenge. This is Virtual Pro Wrestling 2.
Okay.
And this is the game that came out the same year as WrestleMania 2000 for the N64. This is what everybody else got.
Dude, Man Cave Visits, you're bringing that.
Oh, we're demanding now? All right, yeah, I'll bring it.
In a week here. That way you guys could do your thing. Y'all can record it all for Twitch, do episodes of everything.
Right. No, but this game has got like Vader, Terry Funk, New Japan stars from the day. It's got Great Muta. It's got Liger. It's the roster on it. It's got Terry Gordy in it. Terry Gordy was dead 2 years when this game came out. This game has got a roster that will rival No Mercy and WrestleMania and Revenge. And the replay value, just because of who's in it.
Yeah.
I have this sitting. I'll play this once a week. It sits in the N64. I'll switch out to Revenge sometimes, but this one sits in there because I'll be like, I'm not tired yet. Boom.
But Craig, real quick, in terms, since you haven't seen the teaser yet, definitely check it out because the way they presented it was actually really cool. Kenny Omega came out literally dressed as
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Robert?
Steve Jobs. And then every person that came out to talk about the game was also dressed as Steve Jobs. Like everybody was dressed as Steve Jobs with the whole, and they did the mannerisms and the whole thing. It was actually a really cool little presentation that they did for it.
Okay. Because you said so, Dame, I will check it out. But you lost me, Kenny Omega. But go ahead.
Definitely check it out. All right, moving on now. Since we jumped into the wrestling thing, we've got some little wrestling tie-in news bits here. So I'm just going to talk about this headline, but Miss Foxy has more of the details on it.
I do.
Unfortunately, during this month, we also saw a second WWE female go through a stalker experience, and literally within this year, fuck you 2020, and everything like that. And of course, that was Paige. So with that being said, go.
I mean, the situation, while unfortunate, was I guess fortunate for Paige herself in that the stalker was caught by her boyfriend while trying to get into the house. This was after a series of random gifts popping up at their house, as well as flowers and letters and such. Which, I mean, this has always been a problem when it comes to celebrities and sports stars, especially women, but like, it's something that's becoming way more prevalent. I'm not sure if it's because of so much access to social media, or because people are getting so technologically savvy that they can just, you know, find a Snapchat location and just drive over there. But yeah.
Do you think it was one of those situations where it's like the guy saw like what had happened with Sonya Deville and was like, well, if he could do it, I could do it better and not get caught?
It's possible. I mean, people are just, at the end of the day, just falls into the fact people are delusional, you know, and in, like I said, I want to say in the world of social media, but that's not entirely true. With the way celebrities and wrestlers and sports stars are now, they try to provide a transparency to their fans, where I was just like you, or I am just like you, I'm a normal person, this is my real name. And that transparency is their worst enemy right now, you know, in them trying to show, I'm just, you know, an ordinary person, this is my house, this is my real name. It's like, it's opening them up to the downsides of celebrity dumb.
Yeah, where it's kind of like that double-edged sword, where it's like, you know, kind of like, you know, certain celebrities are like, wow, they relate so well to their fans, they're so good with their fans, they're so personal and everything like that. But then, of course, then like you said, they could come around and bite you in the ass.
Absolutely.
It's like opening a gun store. You're going to, when you open the doors, you're going to get people that are there for, you know, a specific reason, but you're also going to let in a lot of nutcases too. And you can't really discriminate because they're just going to come in because you're letting them in. It's always unfortunate in any type of stalking situation, male or female. And I do totally blame social media for this, and Twitter, because we've never had access to so many celebrities now. Anyone you ever had a crush on or thought was cool, you can now talk to them on Twitter, and they may even talk back to you.
Yeah,
you never had that before.
I mean, I want to partially blame the pandemic slightly for this increase, only because of the fact that, you know, wrestlers and, like I said, celebrities, actors, and singers, typically they're on the road all the time. So they're never really at their home. Kind of like, you know, Maurice and Miz, they've had their house broken into twice while they were off the road, on the road. Yeah. You know, whereas now everybody's home. Right. So they're more prone to these things happening. And yikes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
just big yikes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I mean, thankfully, you know, her boyfriend was there and things turned out, you know, on a good note on that one, and didn't get as crazy as unfortunately Sonya's situation had gotten, you know, and everything like that.
Side note, I would love an update on that girl.
It still highlights I can't even think of a word strong enough I want to use here. The nonchalant not giving a shit about mental illness in this country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I put right alongside with addiction where people are like, well, you know, just get better, just get over it, just don't do it. You know, just get help. Well, that's not how it fucking works.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There is a big, I mean, just look at, I love watching Urban X videos. And just, if you look at how many abandoned mental hospitals specifically that are still standing, and then you look into the stories behind them, I mean, we've come a long way from the early 20th century, even to the late 20th century, to 2020 as far as mental health goes. But the barbaric way that most people were treated just for having for being different or having issues, it's amazing to me how A country can say that they care so much about the other people and then immediately dismiss them because they might have a little quirk or might have a little issue. That could be easily not easily, but if you just reach out to somebody,
yeah, exactly,
seek help, or you help them get help, which cost a fortune, which is another rant I won't get into on this podcast. Could be. It's staggering to me how mental health is still treated in this country. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope he gets help.
Yeah,
I'm glad Paige is okay. Paige, I have this whole thing about Paige Anywhere where I think wrestling fans don't deserve her.
We've spoken about this privately. Yes.
Wrestling fans do not deserve her after the way they've treated her and her choices, which had nothing to do with you. She wasn't sleeping with you, pal. Joe.
That's why it was a problem.
Is that the problem? You think Magic?
That's why it was a problem.
She meets you. She's gonna go. You know what? Yeah, well, I'm gonna sleep with you.
It's all good.
That is always the I hate you because you won't sleep with me.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
That's a literal quote from
that's why
someone
I hate Craig.
Yeah. Wait, but Foxy, is that why you hate me?
No, I just made that joke, Craig.
Okay.
I did it first.
Oh,
I did the joke this time. God damn it.
Dan wins.
I went to Craig and I get ignored. God damn it. No, I just
Yes.
that whole thing with how people treated her on Twitter, it's like, well, she shouldn't be doing that. Shut the fuck up. What?
Right.
Guess what? Your mom was a hoe and so was your dad.
Bam.
Like I said, we spoke about this privately. We spoke about this once on Hell in a Cell. Oh, honey.
God, the hypocrisy about fucking me is amazing.
Right, on to the next thing. On to the next thing. Still in relation, kind of, sort of, to wrestling and everything like that.
Jesus Christ, really?
But that is
I'll use all of these wrestling news tidbits to find a way to plug my own shit.
There you go.
Yeah.
We still got to work on that bell sound effect.
Oh, wait, I got it. Hey, Foxy, would you happen to have any instances of this kind of issue that you'd be writing about? I did it. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, 90210 comes to the rescue of wrestlers. Sort of. Okay. So basically, out of the Zelina Vega thing, which again we're not gonna get into. You see what I did?
See what I did? See what I did?
Yeah.
I got it.
Choking on coffee.
Great, we killed him. Great. Now
Yeah.
Not in my book.
Anyway, it was the closing. Anyway, so we're not getting thoroughly into the Zelina Vega thing because I promise you during our main topic there will be room to get into the Zelina Vega thing. Plus, also again, I know you guys covered it on Hell in a Cell, which obviously people should be listening to regularly. Anyway, so for those of you that don't know, Gabrielle Cateris, who was Andrea in 90210.
Yes.
Is currently the president of SAG,
Yes.
which is the Actors Union.
That's right.
Okay, after what had happened to Zelina Vega and everything like that, Gabrielle actually went out, and she didn't just put this out to WWE, but she put this out in general to wrestlers. For any wrestlers, basically, needing help or seeking some sort of representation or whatever like that, since you're not considered athletes, like the NFL is the union for the football players and NBA is the union for basketball players, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wrestlers, since you're no longer considered athletes and have that kind of union, you do fall under media entertainment. Sports entertainment. So we'll be more than happy to talk to you and help you in any way that you're looking for.
Actually, Zelina Vega and her did have
a conversation. And apparently, Zelina hasn't gotten into any details about it or anything like that because, again, she's got nothing bad to say about the company. But apparently the conversation was a very good conversation, but there's no details out other than that. So, unfortunately, through this one unfortunate circumstance, like Zelina said, her unfortunate circumstance may finally do what people like Jesse Ventura and Bret Hart and Roddy Piper all wanted for decades.
This falls under a bigger umbrella too, because prior to the election, Andrew Yang, I believe is his name.
Yes,
he was very pro because he's a wrestling fan, very pro wrestlers getting
Unionized, yeah.
And, you know, we're all fairly certain that he's going to be put into the position that he had wanted under Biden. So if that is the case, he's going to be fighting for a lot of wrestlers. And a lot of people just see this as WWE, but no, this would fall under all quote unquote independent contractors, just like, you know, our random friend that does voiceover actings here and there. He's listed under SAG. Therefore, an independent wrestler that works one Saturday a week can still also fall under SAG. And what is going on with our cats?
The cats.
Hi, Kasumi. You okay?
But yeah, I mean, you know, it would change not just the mainstream wrestling companies, but wrestling as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
big picture, people.
Bigger picture, and again, I'm not going to get, because this is actually a topic that I could go into with you guys on a wrestling thing on a grand scale from my like near 20 years experience, things that I've gone through, things that I've seen happen to other people and everything like that, where something like this was so desperately needed. And it's, you know, unfortunately we didn't have it. So hopefully something like this happens. But yes, so just, and pretty much this is a developing story as it goes.
I just love the editor of the 90210 paper is like the president of SAG. Like,
I know, of all people, like the president of SAG.
I knew it would be my girl, Zuckerman. Real quick, I just because I don't want to. I want to do what Damien said and do a whole other thing about this. Danny said something I was going to touch upon. If you have one line in a production, you fall under SAG. It was interesting to me. I mentioned this on the wrestling podcast, and I'll mention it now. That the week that Sasha Banks was on The Mandalorian with her real name, and I was like, and it occurred to me, I was like, oh, she's SAG-AFTRA now. She's in one episode of the show. She's SAG-AFTRA. Go ahead, Greg.
Yep, exactly.
I was going to piggyback on what you guys said really quick. You were surprised that Gabrielle Carteris was the head of SAG? Former presidents of SAG was Melissa Gilbert.
really?
And also, yes, and Ed Asner from Lou Grant.
Ed.
So that was all good. The other thing that I found curious about this was Gabrielle Carteris reaching out to Zelina Vega, which is great, but curious that she didn't reach out to Jungle Boy since Gabrielle was so close to her father. So not say that she couldn't
to ruin everything.
Yeah, not to say that she couldn't. And we did touch upon this in a previous episode of HIAC about unionization and how Jesse Ventura and Sergeant Slaughter were big proponents of that back in 1984 at the height of Hulkamania. And
I mean, our good friend Vito, you know, Big Vito is still fighting this whole thing. Yeah.
And I think when Andrew Yang gets his eventual position under Joe Biden, like you said, Foxy, it's going to be very, very different in the landscape of professional wrestling and unionization.
My final point, and I'll let you move on, Damien, and just we could dig into this. Hey, why don't you come on? Why don't you come on next week? So my big point was, you know how much I'm a proponent of indie wrestling promoters being held accountable. I'm just saying. Listen, I don't want to see. Let me preface. I don't want to see anybody out of business. I want as much wrestling as possible for as much workers as possible. I absolutely do not want to see any company die. However, I do want to see some accountability past the commission, because the commission only does so much. Like in DC and Virginia, the commission, it was like you couldn't. It was complaining at the same time, going, this is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be scrutinized, and it's supposed to be gone over with a fine-tooth comb, period. Indie wrestling will change if a union steps in, and it will change for the better.
I will say this much, and again, we'll move on real quick. You, and Craig, I got to actually tell you guys, because when I started indie wrestling, that's when the Athletic Commission was still involved. With New York wrestling. And we will have a chat of how different it was when I started and how hard it was to get started on the indies and then how it transitioned.
That's a conversation. It should
also,
be.
the reason why I never started working in New York City until the commission was lifted.
The plot does thicken.
I told you I'm going to do this. I will find a way.
Anyway, all right, so moving on, getting off the wrestling stuff now, moving past the wrestling stuff. Okay. Actually, well, the next part you're going to love.
But I need to.
I'm sure you'll try. Actually, you can get the bonus. You get the bonus points if you find ways to segue your book into things that have nothing to do with wrestling.
Got it.
Hold on,
Accepted.
I want to put Damien to the fire. I want to hold his feet to the fire and say, is there actually bonus points involved for your wife?
Somehow.
I'm gonna hold you accountable to this.
10 million points the Griffin Puff.
This is on Twitch. I'm making a note. All right.
Anyway, all right. So, much to the delight of some people, because again, we missed out on the newest season that would have already had happened and ended by now of American Horror Story. We actually got our first picture teaser for American Horror Story season 10.
As well as.
Getting there.
Okay.
Getting there. Now, the teaser picture is kind of interesting. If anybody else has seen it, other than the two of us. Okay, it's like a close-up of, like, it's like a dentist working on a mouth. But the mouth literally looks like a clown / Pennywise's teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, what's going to be the theme on this one? You know,
Dentistry. That's scary enough.
well, yeah, like there was definitely a dentistry, but like I said, because it was all you saw was the dentist's hands. You know,
Right.
with the gloves. The gloves even looked a little glittery in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
but the mouth was literally, it was like white clown face paint, and the lips were red, and the teeth looked very, you know, were all razor sharp, very
Right.
similar to like a Pennywise. So it's like, okay, where's this one going? You know, because like, you know, we had American Horror Story Roanoke, so you knew it was Roanoke. American Horror Story Hotel, we knew it was that. You know,
Yeah.
what is this one? Like, all I saw was like a dentist's hands and what seemed to be Pennywise's mouth.
This can go anywhere, because if you recall, the poster for American Horror Story Cults, which was season 7,
Mhm.
was just a face that looked like a beehive. And of course, before the title came out, everyone's like, okay, maybe it's fears, worst fears. And while that was a backdrop, it was entitled Cult. So this could mean so many other things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All we do know about the season is that Macaulay Culkin is in it,
Yes.
as is Kathy Bates, and they are lovers.
Macaulay Culkin and Kathy Bates as lovers.
That's scary enough as it is. They could just call it that, and I'm already scared. Or if they really want to scare us, American Horror Story DMV. There you go.
And
Oh, that is the American Horror
I'm
Story.
telling you, Macaulay Culkin can't handle Kathy Bates. Come on now.
No.
That woman is a national treasure.
Exactly.
Now, that wasn't the only bit of American Horror Story news that we had gotten that day, though, because a little while after the teaser poster, it
Mhm.
was also announced there's going to be a new related series called American Horror Stories, which is basically all individual episodic stories. That's it. So it's like, it's not going to be like a whole season of a story. It's literally one-shot deals.
Okay.
So yeah, we're getting a whole new spin-off series called American Horror Stories, as well as American Horror Story 10.
Okay. Now, are these going to be all on FX, or do we have to? Are they going to be on a streaming service?
So the official full-on season is going to be on FX. I believe the other one, it was also going to be on FX,
Okay.
and it will be taking the place of American Crime Story, which is what would usually come on the following season.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
I think the crimes for this guy to write about just yet. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Whew,
to break the monotony of the serious stuff, I promise I have a what the fuck.
Okay.
I have this month's what the fuck, so I got to pull up the details on this one in a little bit.
W.
Okay, so again, for those of you not familiar with the WTF What the Fuck segment, once in the blue, there happens to be an article that comes out that literally makes us all say, what the fuck?
WTF.
Yeah, like that. So, that being said, for you Mountain Dew fans,
Good Lord.
November 16th, it already came out, but there is apparently a Mountain Dew Cookbook out now. There's a Mountain Dew
Go on.
Dew Mountain Book Cook, you say?
Mhm.
Yes. There's a Mountain Dew Cookbook. All recipes are, and this is literally in quotations, are fan-made
Oh Lord.
and fan-inspired recipes and everything like that. But yeah, it's a Mountain Dew cookbook. So I have here, I have six of the six of the items that are actually in the book. And here you go. The first one is your badass $ for the 2 S's breakfasts. Dew lovers can whip up fluffy green short stacks and iconic green eggs and ham that are worth getting out of bed for.
Oh, that
Sounds awful.
Next one, dip in with the dew. MTN Dew salsas and barbecue sauces will be the real MVPs of any dish.
Well, I'm gonna vomit. Great.
Dew does dinner. Seriously epic entrees like MTN Dew, Code Red, brisket, and MTN Dew Livewire brined turkey will have you calling for seconds. Damn, look, he's about to puke.
for seconds in the bathroom, perhaps.
Seconds, hours.
Yes.
Okay. Satisfying sides with snacks like jalapeno poppers and MTN Dew infused pickles. Now you'll never have to choose between your go-to party sides and a can of MTN Dew ever again.
Thank God, because I couldn't choose between either one. Can I stop you right there before all of us puke?
Oh, there's two more. There's two more.
No,
Okay,
God.
now, do they have a dessert?
Wait. You said that. It's funny you should say
I
that.
at least want to hear a dessert.
Because the next one literally says, dang good desserts.
Dang. If it's dang, you know that this was written like in someone's meth lab.
If you thought you loved desserts before,
I did.
wait until you try MTN Dew cherry and cranberry pomegranate fruitcake.
Fruitcake's disgusting to begin with.
Yes.
Damien,
And
I hate
and-
you for doing this to us.
And add Mountain Dew
And there's
to it.
one last one for you, and for you power drinkers out there and social drinkers, we've got one for you too. Liquid Legends. Discover twists on classic cocktails and bold new creations like MTN Dew slushies and electric lemonade that'll have you chilling out and slurping up.
Can I tell you something right now, Damien? First of all, I'm not going to make any comment on what you just said. I'm bringing this up because this is my fault. I willed this into existence. I don't know what cosmic forces are aligned, but I brought all this to your forefront because let me tell you something. I have a lot of good friends that like me and enjoy me. And one of my good friends ordered me a case of my favorite beverage, which is vanilla Coke. But there was a mistake in the shipping. I don't know if it was a shipper or Amazon or what, but hold on.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Well, while he's doing that, it's interesting that you talk about cookbooks because former WWE commentator Renee Young now has a cookbook out. But
This is
also
what I got.
you know,
Instead,
No,
I
you
got 12 bottles. 12 bottles. Not vanilla Coke, but Mountain Dew Code Red. I had 12 bottles of this shit. Okay? By mistake. So the fact that you got a whole dessert menu of Mountain Dew where Mountain Dew has never crossed my mind, my lips, my soul in 30 years. It's all because of me. I don't know why. Mountain Dew is in my life. First, nothing for 30 years. Now, this week, and now you right now, Damien, have given me more Mountain Dew than I've ever had. I've got 12 bottles of this shit. But thanks to you, I now know what to do with them. Because you gave me so many handy-dandy recipes that I can just keep on having bottle after bottle. See, a bottle after bottle of Mountain Dew, so now I know exactly what to do with the dew. Thank you. And fuck you, Damien.
I remember growing up. I mean, I always hated Mountain Dew too.
Yes.
I don't know, it's disgusting to me. But I remember growing up as a kid. There was always a Simpsons joke when the Simpsons went to New York, and Homer's in front of World Trade Center and like that, and he actually has a hot dog and everything. He goes, "Oh, now I need something to wash this disgusting thing down with." He goes, "What do you got to drink?" He goes, "I have Mountain Dew and crab juice." He goes, "Oh, give me the crab juice."
Awesome.
So yes, that is your WTF for the month. Mountain Dew Cookbook. Come on, Dan. I'm
Mountain Dew
all over this one.
Who drinks Mountain Dew when Mellow Yellow exists?
I figured you'd be all over this one, Dan. Come on.
No, I don't know. It makes me. I want to go wash my mouth with a wire brush after hearing all that.
My taste buds have been raped.
My taste buds have just committed suicide.
Mountain Dew.
All right.
Mountain Dew
Well,
bad. Mountain Dew bad.
I love it.
All right. Well, moving on.
Kasumi, come here.
I know, Kasumi, you got a brother on the screen.
Yeah, Roscoe, come here. Fuck you, Dad. Oh, all right.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a while since we've done a book thing and everything like that, but occasionally a book comes down the pike that definitely interests nerds all across the board.
I have a friend writing a book.
Usually you don't say.
I do.
What?
That's crazy.
Wait,
What
Dan,
a small world.
you have a friend?
You have a friend. Who the fuck are you?
All right. Well, movie lovers, actors, Harry Potter fans, nerds alike, all love and still miss Alan Rickman and everything like that. It's not a Christmas until Hans Gruber falls off the Nakatomi building and everything like that.
Yes, I heard about that.
But for those of you that are interested, Alan Rickman, during the course of his entire career, actually wrote Diaries, 27 volumes to be specific.
Oh,
Wow.
27 volumes of Diaries to be specific that he intended on releasing during the course of his career that involved his views on acting, politics, Harry Potter, his experiences with Harry Potter, and a whole plethora of things. Unfortunately, we lost Alan Rickman way too soon.
yes.
But, however, his handwritten diaries are being published into a book, and I have the details right here.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Rickman's handwritten diaries are set to be published in 2022. Rickman began these diaries with the intention of one day publishing them over the course of his 25-year career. The actor wrote 27 volumes, which will now be condensed into one book titled The Diaries of Alan Rickman.
Great title.
All right. Diaries share his thoughts on acting, his own and others, on set or on stage, stories from his personal life, his political ideals, the behind-the-scenes anecdotes, including stories from the decade he worked on the set of Harry Potter. So again, if you are not a big book reader, but if you're a Harry Potter fan or an Alan Rickman fan, this is definitely going to be one to pick up.
That's just unfortunate that they're collecting it into one volume because
he made 20. They're gonna leave out so much.
I would love to read about when he was in Dogma. I would love to read about how he did all his research for when he was in CBGB. Because that's my favorite one of his. Like it's gonna be so hard.
I even want to hear about because Galaxy Quest was such a left field thing for his career. What brought about him saying okay yes to Galaxy Quest, even though Galaxy Quest is a good movie and has quite the huge cult following, but it's different for him.
But I know exactly why he chose that role, because he got to play a classically trained actor who got who not unlike a George Reeves or someone that just did this TV show as a lark for a paycheck and now it subsequently ruined his life. And he was perfect for
it was kind of the actor that was in Demolition Man that played Cocteau, whatever his name was.
Oh, Raymond Cocteau.
Yeah.
He berated and butchered that movie and said he hated being there and everything like that, which actually kind of subsequently slightly tanked his career. It was dude, and you obviously did it for the paycheck. Get the fuck out. Nobody wanted to deal with him afterwards. It was you prick. You just
Raymond.
Yeah. But no, I'm definitely looking forward to the Alan Rickman book without a doubt.
Dear Diary, a fat director from New Jersey keeps calling me and I don't know why.
I used to do that though.
Yeah.
No shit. This is gonna sound creepy, but those of you who know me know this is totally normal. So after watching the movie Seven, right?
Mm-hmm.
I decided I wanted to fill up a shit ton of composition notebooks and have them aligning my bookshelves of just everyday thoughts and whatever, like the Psycho did in the movie Seven, because I'm a psycho. And I actually did do that for a very long time. The books were had everything in it, and I started it when I was 15 years old. And my cousin got rid of them all.
Oh man. Ouch.
Including like when starting wrestling too, because it was the start of what I wanted to write about, because I was like keeping a log of everything and matches and dates. She got rid of them all because I had kept them at her house, and I then got accused of sleeping with her baby daddy, which I did not. So she tossed out all my shit. That whole story is in my fucking.
Okay.
What book? I'm trying to get you to do the cell, damn it. You're gonna pick it up one day, I think.
This is gonna be my author photo in the back.
Gotcha, bitch.
No, actually, your photo of the back's gonna be Damien talking about Mountain Dew and you going.
Yeah. Foxy, caffeinated, dedicated.
That's gonna be her. It's her picture. It's gonna be like a motion video. It's like one of the motion pictures. This is just her telling her mom jokes to me as of recently.
Yes.
Aloha.
It's good stuff.
Tell me
You had way too much fun on that one. You enjoyed that one way too much.
Here's the problem. Here's why. I knew it was coming after the first sentence of the delivery. I'm like, it's aloha. And then as she says it, it's not so much the line, which is a good line, and I'll fist fight a man who says otherwise.
It's a double take.
It's this though. This is Damien. It's the it's the second where he has to think about it for just a second. Then
if you go back and watch the video, okay. So the moment she goes, because I'm literally listening to her, and the moment she goes, the next time you talk to Cocoa, I went,
yeah.
Because like in my head, I'm like, okay. Anytime I've ever talked to Cocoa, she's never asked me to ask him anything in the X amount of years that I've known him. Why all of a sudden is she asking me to ask Cocoa something? So
immediately I'm suspect.
So yeah, right away something's amiss. Something's amiss here. Something's going on. So that's where the comes from. Like, okay, she's going to something here.
See, the trick to the mom joke reaction videos is I have to space them out and do it in a way where he doesn't know I'm recording him, because then he'll know I'm coming up with something.
Basically she catches every one of them. She catches me when I'm playing one of my app phone games.
Yes.
That's what she does. It's like if I'm doing one of my app, or I'm doing my logins on my games, whatever like that, because I'm just trying to get them done. That's what I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm listening, but I'm just getting this shit done. And then, yeah, that's when she catches me.
Gotcha. Good timing.
Oh, my God. Anyway, moving on. All right, this was something that we touched upon. I think maybe our debut episode back or something like that, but now we have more information on it. We had mentioned that they were trying to create a television series for The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yes.
The Last of Us has been ordered for The Last of Us series for HBO.
Yeah.
Has been has gotten an official series order. And apparently it seems like they're planning for the long haul on this one, or hoping for the long haul if the ratings are good. And in the way the article sounded, it sounded almost like very almost kind of Walking Dead-ish. Not necessarily show writing, but like in terms of that longevity feel of like Walking Dead or Game of Thrones. It seems like that's what they're banking on, because they said the first season is largely pretty much straightforward based on the first game. And what they're saying is the hope is if it does well and it runs long enough, that's literally what it said if the series runs long enough, they're looking to delve into the events of part 2 of The Last of Us. So yeah, they're looking for this show to generally be a long-running, long-standing hit like a Walking Dead / Game of Thrones, which HBO has yet to kind of obviously because of COVID, that's changed things, because that's halted the prequel series for Game of Thrones and everything like that. But they're looking, I guess, to fill that long series void of a television program with Last of Us.
Yeah,
and I think the material is there if it's adapted correctly.
And acted.
Yes, definitely.
Because it is going to be live action, correct?
Yes, it is going to be live action.
Okay.
which is definitely good. So like that's going to be interesting too. Is like who they cast to play these characters and everything like that. And again, if they're talking long haul from like Ellie in the first one to Ellie to part 2, I mean that's quite a number of years to watch an actress literally grow up, like kind of like we watched the kids grow up in Game of Thrones. We watched them grow up throughout the whole series.
And
so that's essentially what you're looking at to do with The Last of Us.
Yeah, and the kids that we watched grow up in The Walking Dead too. And how we saw
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But what they really need to do with Last of Us, because it's so familiar, with anyone who's played Last of Us knows how familiar it feels to The Walking Dead. The only difference is the dead people run very fast. They really have to do a good job of differentiating these runners from the walkers. And obviously, when they have the clickers, it will be a whole different thing. And the pods, or the stalkers, they have their own breed. They're very, unlike the Walking Dead zombies. But having the main dead walking folks, they have to do a better job of separating them from the Walking Dead.
Because also very much like the Walking Dead, the irony of the Walking Dead title is the fact that when it says the Walking Dead, they're not necessarily talking about the zombies, they're talking about
the living. Yeah,
the living. Whereas The Last of Us 2 is the same thing. It's this infection is technically kind of sort of the backdrop versus the human things that are aspects that are going on. Yeah. But also it's like it makes you start to wonder, if you've played the games, what kind of budget are they going to get for this? I mean, Walking Dead has a huge budget, but let's bear in mind, they mostly deal with zombie makeup. A lot of traditional zombie makeup. Last of Us 2, the zombie stuff is not quite as elaborate because they don't really have zombies. It's kind of a different thing. But then, like you said, then we have the clickers and everything. That's a big, huge overhaul of like makeup or CGI, whatever they plan to do. And we've seen some stellar work, like fan films from different companies. I think it was Iron Horse did a fantastic. If you've never seen it, guys, there's a fantastic 3-part by Iron Horse Studios that did a Last of Us 3-part fan film, which they did a fantastic and amazing job, great casting and everything. And they did everything prosthetically. Again, that's based around using 1 or 2 clickers and everything like that. But like, what kind of a budget are they going to get? And how does this been called for a series? Because again, we're talking about, and how often you're going to see a clicker or something like that.
Plus, and budget would also be based off of how well either the pilot or the season goes, because nobody really had faith in Game of Thrones season 1. So that's why
when they threw more money at it.
Watch it, the wigs look terrible, the costumes are okay, and then once it started growing, that's okay. Let's put money into it. So it also really depends on how well the first season goes.
Yeah.
And also the budget will also depend on the location. What made Walking Dead so successful is they shot it all in one city, in one place. And they had the one backdrop of Atlanta, and that was it. But with Last of Us, if done correctly, you have several sprawling city landscapes. You have Seattle, and you have the Pacific Northwest, and you have in the Pacific Ocean, and several major cities to deal with. So it depends on
unless they do the thing that a lot of series do now, is like a lot of them get filmed in Canada. A lot of movies and series get filmed in Canada.
Yeah,
technically cheaper to do.
Right.
And everything. But yeah, I mean, Last of Us television there's obviously no release date or anything like that for it yet. There's just a call for a full series order. I'm definitely on board and excited for it. This is probably the first like show announcement of something new that I've seen in quite a while that I'm actually like, okay, yeah, I'm really excited for this. I'm really keeping fingers crossed this one actually pans out. Like, I'm really, exactly. I'm definitely looking forward to this, and I really hope it works out, because I'm looking for like kind of a good new drama. Like, I've gotten heavily into Lucifer, but Lucifer is kind of, there's still, it's funny and like that. Like, I'm looking for something on that Game of Thrones, little grittier edge that I could take kind of seriously and
so
watch.
You want your heart broken?
Yes.
Did somebody say gritty?
Masochist.
Oh, sorry.
Bad things happen. So.
Married you. Which is in the book, by the way.
Oh, what book?
We found I think we found our niche. What book?
And not for nothing. Her book is all about finding her niche.
What are you talking about? What book? How do I find out information about this book?
I need closure on that anecdote.
All right, and then the last news tidbit before we get into our main topic. See, I told you I really delved way back. We had a bunch of stuff this month. Mm-hmm. All right, this one's for Dan because I know Dan was excited about it because he mentioned it when we were chatting earlier today. There is finally a decision and news on Wonder Woman 1985. Four, five, whatever.
You got me excited. Is it a third one?
It's a movie from the future.
What?
Yes. Which is also from the past. But no, Wonder Woman 1984 will be hitting whatever open theaters there are on Christmas Day. But also, for those of you that are just not too keen on hitting the theaters just yet, and understandably so, what they are also doing for 1 month only. For 1 month only, they will be streaming it on HBO Max in the U.S. as well, only for 1 month. So if you don't want to go to the theaters, you'll get to watch it for a month on HBO Max. And it seems like Craig's got a little bit more on this.
Yes. Wonder Woman 84 was poised to be the #1 movie of 2020. It was between either that or Black Widow. Because
they keep fighting about to decide what to do with it.
They keep pushing back. But Wonder Woman 84 is going to be streaming on HBO Max, which is stacking up on the original series and first run movies. Really trying to get a steady stream going. They've already got a lot of more new subscribers than they've had with any other previous. They put Quibi out of business, and now HBO Max is.
Yeah, they put Quibi out of business.
I'm sure HBO Max didn't help.
911 season.
But Wonder Woman will be dropping Christmas Day on HBO Max, and like Dame said, in select movie theaters across the United States. Knowing all that, it could still be the biggest movie of 2020, even
absolutely.
Released.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's the movie that hope.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yes.
Go back to the 80s, man. Go back to the 80s.
My favorite year. 84, my favorite year.
Two things. Well, three things. The first thing is supposedly the rumor is Black Widow's coming out on Disney Plus April 16th.
Okay.
That poor movie.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll get its just. I absolutely believe it'll get its just too. But I understand. I agree with you. God damn it, of course. I'm gonna get to my final point in a second.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wonder Woman. See, and this strictly because I was a little boy growing up, not a little girl. I knew very little about past the basics about Wonder Woman. Apparently, everybody else saw the Ares thing a mile away.
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't care what that makes me feel like, but when that fucking camera switches over and it's him in there, I'm like, oh shit. And when first of all, that actor's in another great movie from 90. It's I've shared the clip. It's a movie called Naked. It was an independent British film. Go check it out. I will send a clip that I always play about these end times.
I saw it in a theater, Dan.
You saw Naked in a theater?
I did.
You know what the scene with the security guard I'm talking about, where he's talking about all the prophecies and shit?
Yes.
Yeah, great scene, but his voice is so... Yeah, I could not hear anybody else delivering this the way I could also not hear anybody but the actor, and I forget his name every time, when she says, oh no, the God Killer, and he just... That is not... Oh, my dear Diana, that is not the God Killer. You are... It's just, oh my God, I love that movie. That being said, Kristen Wiig looks fucking badass in this movie, and it looks like, just based on the trailer, they got a good villain again. People complain about the end of Wonder Woman. Looking at you, Matt, in this chat, you bastard. People complain about the end of that movie being, a long fist fight. I'm like, yeah, two gods fighting. What the fuck else are we here for?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm even fighting.
It was David Thewlis is the
David Thewlis.
The actor, and he was also in season 3 of Fargo.
He was in season 3 of Fargo. Yes.
Very good.
I'm so excited. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, This is kind of Wonder. It's not really Wonder Woman related as it is Gal Gadot. So
okay, well, this isn't either. My third point was with the rumors about Black Widow, and they don't fight for 5 fucking hours. It's 5 minutes. Shut up, Matt. You're banned. I'm blocking you. You're not. You're fired too.
No food for you.
You're fired. No, you're rehired. It gives me hope that a certain other movie we've been waiting for that just got finished post-production this weekend, and that is Ghostbusters.
Of course.
Because I'm not going to make it till June. I might kill somebody. I'm going to need this movie on demand. I told Kelly, I said, I will pay once a week to watch this the month that it's out on video on demand. Just figure it a way out. And when you re-release it in theaters, when we can all start going back to theaters again, guess what? I'll binge watch it there too. Just give me what I want.
Well, I take it you're a Gal Gadot fan, obviously.
No, not at all. I don't think she's attractive or good at anything.
Well, what if I told you?
You sold me.
You take Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
You take Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yes.
And you take Ryan Reynolds. And you put him in a heist film.
In my bed? Oh, shit.
Yeah, they're actually the three of them are actually doing a heist film together. Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds, and The Rock.
I just want to see the banter between The Rock and Ryan Reynolds.
Rock and Ryan Reynolds is great.
Well, Hobbs and Shaw. 10 minutes in Hobbs and Shaw. You have Ryan Reynolds and The Rock.
Three of them are actually doing a movie together, and there was a funny bit about that because The Rock had to film a chase scene in it and everything like that. So they bring the Porsche. He was supposed to do the chase scene in a Porsche.
Yeah.
And apparently there's footage of it somewhere. He couldn't do the scene because he's too big to get in the car.
Yeah, that would be a problem. Yeah.
There's video of him trying to get in the car, and he can't get in the car.
Listen, I've sat in a Porsche before when I was in good shape, and I was uncomfortable.
Yeah, but no, I wanted to throw that one out at you, Dan. But yeah, The Rock, Gal Gadot, and Ryan Reynolds in a movie.
So Wonder Woman, Deadpool, and the Black Adam are going to be in a movie together.
Finally.
Yes.
Sign me up.
Yes.
All right.
That'd be great.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your nerd news of the month.
I just want to extend the Wonder Woman getting released digitally a little while. And I know I'm creating. People say, no, it's not going to be that. Everything will be fine. This is going to change movie going.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If this is a scintilla of successful as they are hoping it to be, and people do it this way, you're going to see the business change. I already said, and I can only use for personal experiences third hand watching another business model change going to virtual. You're going to find out what can be done virtually and what can't be done virtually and what's going to save money and what's not during these times. And a lot of things fundamentally are going to change. Look at the WWE. There's no more house shows ever again. They're done.
Not true. Not fully true. There's only certain ones that they're going to do the New York Christmas show because they make money on that one. That's the one I take the kids to we take the kids to every year.
All right. So one.
They're still going to do the New York Christmas show. They're still going to do.
They have to do WrestleMania.
Now that they've settled, they're still going to do the Saudi Arabia thing.
No, just house shows, untelevised events.
And I think one other one. They're only doing like 2.
Yeah, but those I don't consider those house shows. I consider
and Mania, of course. They're going to try to get Mania and Rumble live.
No, I consider those supercards or like special events. Those aren't house shows. The run-of-the-mill house shows on a Tuesday, Wednesday night, they're done. It's not coming back for the foreseeable future.
Well, apparently, like Vince had said even before this, all this happened, he was trying to find a way to get rid of house shows anyway.
I said this years ago that why are you spending – I love house shows. Why are you spending money that you don't want to lose on shows that you're not making money on these? And yes, as much as I shit on the billionaire that is Vince McMahon for certain things that he's done and praise him for the other things that he's done, nobody wants to run a company that's losing money like that. That's a multiple day a week you're losing money that you don't need. It's not like even the mid to late 90s where you were still promoting a show. I'd go to a house show in the Spectrum in the middle of May, and it would be sold out.
Yeah.
It's not happening
Well, yeah,
anymore.
house shows haven't been sold out in like years because I mean I do a lot of house shows with Seth and everything like that, even other than the Christmas ones where we just said hey, and they were rarely, if ever, full.
I also said that this is going to boost when it comes back. It could be a hell of a shot in the arm for indie wrestling, where they might change their business model and start running during the week, not always on the weekend,
like they used to, like back
they
in
used to. Like Craig brings up every week when he tells about these shows that there was 5,000 at one arena and 10 at the other, and not necessarily all of them were NWA or WWE shows.
And they were on like a Tuesday or Thursday night.
Exactly. My old wrestling school used to hold Wednesday night shows every last Wednesday of the month, like Nerdherders, and it's booking about in my book.
Hey, you can find that on Patreon. Hey, you can.
I want to know what these bonus points are because I am fucking killing it.
This is going to be this. There's literally no negative from losing house shows. None. There's nothing. There's no you could argue people who are like, well, I want to go to house shows. I'm like, well, that's wonderful. Go to the TV taping.
I can argue a point.
There kind of is a loss
I can argue a point.
Yeah. I'm not going to listen to any professional wrestler tell me I'm wrong.
A primary negative impact that this will have is the fact that house shows is where the wrestlers test out new ideas to their gimmicks. It keeps their feet wet when they don't have time to go to the performance center to train. It's literally what keeps them in wrestling shape. And
fuck them. No, I'm kidding.
So while it has nothing to do with, Vince's pockets, and while it's smarter in the long run because fans aren't attending, it does negatively impact the roster.
By the way, I just want to let you know that the chat is in on what book. Because Matt just said, what book? Go ahead, Craig.
Also, what the house show, taking away the house show does, it takes away the merchandise that's being sold at house shows.
No, the internet solves that. No, internet. I'll disagree because more people are buying off the WWF shot than they were not going to house shows and buying them there because nobody was going. That's the one thing I'll say.
Yeah, no, you'd be surprised. They make a lot of money at the events.
I host a podcast. I'm right and you're wrong.
More so because when you're at a house show, they only give you the merch that they want to push, though.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, there were times I remember going to shows. They were like selling shirts of people that weren't even on the card or weren't even on the roster anymore. And it's like, why are they selling Bella shirts? They're not even active for the last 2 years.
All right, let me make a slight amendment. There's nothing negative that can come from the actual wrestling side of it, as far as putting on shows, that will be negatively impacted. I think it'll be a boom for indie wrestling, and I think it'll be a boom for the WWE because you have an expenditure you're not using anymore, especially if you're finding a. I'm sorry, go ahead, Damien.
Well, there is one thing though. Again, from an indie wrestler standpoint, and seeing these house shows and knowing a couple of guys there and seeing it. There is one element that does kind of affect the performers directly as well that people don't get to see when it comes to the television show. Indie shows, there are, a lot of good matches, and occasionally, there's a surprise thing that happens. But the one thing that the workers do on the indie on the house shows is they cut loose and they work them like indie shows, and they have fun. They have a lot more fun. They're able to do the things that they can't do on TV. They can cut loose. They can be funny. They can do ha-ha spots and all that stuff. And that's really a good way for them to kind of cut loose and not have to be so scripted and serious all the time. And it shows in the work and in the matches when they get to do those things. And again, as a retired worker, not being able to do that sometimes does suck. Like when I worked the ROH tapings and having to follow A through Z.
Yeah.
But like working television versus working a non-televised show really is a different thing. And I learned that like big time. And like there are moments I had on indie shows where I was like, damn, that was hella fun because we got to do a lot of goofy shit that still got over, and we got the crowd involved and it was funny, but it wouldn't work on something that was televised.
Like putting your PKE meter down your sights.
Yeah.
I want to make a final amendment. Nothing I said was accurate. It's all incorrect. I'm going to delete the tweet, and I retract the statement. Wrestling's dead, and this is going to further kill. No, I'm kidding about the second part.
All right. So
I'm
anyway,
going to find that that tweet though and delete it.
On to the main topic. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, it is something that we talked about on the very first Rebooted episode, which was basically the announcement that G4 was coming back. Well, last night, as nerds, we are thankful for the originators. The reason that any of us get to do what we do right now, because they were the first. They were the pioneers. They were the reason why all these podcasts exist, all these Twitch things exist, why there's such a boom. Last night was the official return of G4. And it answered the speculation which we had. It was how was it gonna be network television or anything like that? And it is in fact on YouTube. They have a YouTube channel and everything. And yesterday they had because right now they kind of have a telethon thing going on in a sense. It's called a Gravython or something like that, where they're doing 4 days of live streaming straight and everything like that, all for good causes and everything like that. But it was kicked off by their Thanksgiving reunion special, which was, again, if you haven't watched it, was freaking hilarious, spot on, so many feels. Now, we did mention at the beginning, though the host was good,
Ron Funches?
This is where it comes in that we shed light onto our very own Craig.
I knew it was coming. This
guy, though funny and everything like that, really seems like he stole his styling and everything directly from Craig.
Absolutely.
And when we were like, all right, this guy is funny, but he's trying to be Craig, and there's only one Craig, and we got him.
From the tonality to the mannerisms to the
facial expressions, everything.
Sense of humor, we're sitting here like, this is
Craig.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that's
you
why
not
you
know
got
who Ron Funches is.
If that's cool. I mean, I'm a fan of Ralph Funches. And I guess I'm too close because I've always been a fan of his. But if you looked at him and you saw me, or you think he was stealing from me, that is an incredible compliment.
No, wholeheartedly dead on. We were like,
this is Craig.
This is Craig. Craig needs to be doing this because only Craig could be Craig.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
Listen, I wanted to say this, but it's weird coming from a white boy.
Say it.
Oh,
No, what they just said.
Okay.
But coming from a pale white man, it'd be like, yo, you can't say that.
No, I never took any exception. I never saw that as I don't take that as if you were black, if you were white, you can say that, and if you're black, you can say that.
Okay, well, Ron Funches seems like he's you and him or you.
Thank you.
Yeah, he definitely. It felt like he was definitely. I mean, again, no offense to him and everything, because he was hilarious in it. But it was just like the whole time we watched it, as good as he was, we just kept saying this needs to be Craig.
Craig, you're much better looking though.
Thank you. I've always thought that too, and every time I saw Ron Funches, and the thing is, I envy him so much because he's gotten to do so much of what I want to do, like hosting G4 and being on AP Bio, and host. And he interviewed one of my old girlfriends on his YouTube show. She's a best-selling author. Her name is Angela Nissel. She was the executive producer for Scrubs. We dated, and he got to interview her. I haven't talked to her since she was on Scrubs. So he's getting to do all the things I want to do. So it's just hard because when I do get to that level, people say, "Oh, he's trying to be around Funches," and that's what's going to be hard.
Well, it could be possible in the one instance that you did all the things he wanted to do.
That's true.
I
see what you did there, but yeah, thank you guys.
I did.
No, absolutely. But again, for anybody that didn't get to see it, pretty much again, it's him kind of hosting. He creates this Thanksgiving reunion, and on it, of course, is Olivia Munn, Adam Sessler,
Morgan Webb,
Kevin Pereira,
Blair
Herter, and she hosted
Victoria Adams.
She hosted Cheat.
V Adams. I don't remember her first name.
She hosted Cheat. We were actually, and then of course they had little video messages from Chris Hardwick, so we were like, oh, nobody likes it. Chris Hardwick, Allison Hayslip, who I was so disappointed that she wasn't there. I was so disappointed. A couple other ones. Although missing was Sarah Jean Underwood wasn't there. And I thought she was actually really good during her time on G4. But the one that really kind of irked us that wasn't there was Blair Butler.
Yeah.
Like, Blair Butler wasn't there. And I was like,
she's like the franchise.
a video vignette. They didn't show any of her clips. Also, the guy that used to do the DVD reviews on Attack of the Show, he wasn't on either, and everything. But it was really good. It was really funny. They created a whole scenario and storyline. It felt like the old X-Play Attack of the Show, where there was a story skit. They gave you like behind the scenes kind of talk about certain things, but they also maintained being funny and staying in character, so to speak. There was like a whole thing behind it. And then, of course, what the news that dropped last night, which was after the special aired, was, as we all suspected, Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed, was announced as part of G4 now. The way that broke was in that episode and everything like that. And if you haven't seen that episode, in terms of his thing, kind of ends with him getting something, and he's like, "What's this?" And then it bleeds into the video that you saw online last night, if you watched it, with him in the briefcase and everything like that. But
overall, I mean, it was a great thing to watch as a fan of just all the shows.
Like, all the feels were there.
But also as like a retrospective, because I'm sure, I mean, I know I wasn't expecting it, but I'm sure a lot of people did not expect Olivia Munn to participate. Because while G4 and Attack of the Show made her, she's a
movie
star
star. She's a movie star.
Yeah, and what was also nice was how in their own reflections of the show, they touched upon everything that every one of us has ever said about G4, about how it was like that it was the one thing that like burst down the doors for nerd culture,
female gamers,
how they were just a bunch of kids that were bullied that now became bullies on the internet, as they joke.
Now they're the bullies. Yeah, now they get to be the bullies.
Yeah, and
they're the ones with the power now.
It was really nice to see all of them look at it from that point of view, because a lot of people don't remain humble and have that humility anymore. And for them to acknowledge that and say, yeah, we paved the way, but we were just like you guys, was absolutely amazing.
And they give you like there's a lot of moments that they talk about what it was like in the offices, and where you think it's like this big extravagant thing in the offices, you realize like how nickel and dime they really were. Like shoestring, nickel and dime, and doing the stuff that they did.
Essentially, if you put it this way, in the most modern terms I could think of for anybody watching and listening and whatnot, they are quite literally describing the old G4 offices and their shows as what we're all doing now.
What we do now.
Sitting in our rooms, streaming with, no real professional background or no real scripts, just going at it, shooting the shit and
about video games and shit like that.
And making something of it. And it's kind of inspiring.
It really is, because and then it was cool because they talked about how much it did for them moving on. Like, Blair Herder talked about like once G4 closed down and he moved on to IGN and everything like that, like when he got there, he was literally dumbfounded, because he's like, I came to G4 knowing nothing. I had no background. I had nothing. And then I jumped to IGN and stuff like that. And the first day I'm there, they tell me, we're here because of what you and the people you worked with did. We exist because of what you did. And he was just like floored by that. Again, so the question was finally answered, though, as we had mentioned in the debut episode, is they're back. It's obviously in the YouTube format that they're going for. They haven't really made any announcements in terms of television shows or whatever like that. I think they're looking to obviously get past the Thanksgiving weekend like that. We're going to pick it apart as we go. But definitely check. They've got a bunch of videos on their YouTube already, so definitely check it out and everything like that. But, yeah, the first thing out of the gate we had to say was just the whole Craig thing. I was like, this is Craig. This is Craig, man. It's like so good.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you were watching something and something reminded you. something reminded them of me, and it was a good thing.
I think we enjoyed it more once in our imaginations.
Yeah.
We just imagined it was you.
Absolutely.
We were like, it was way better. We just, it's Craig now. Now it's just Craig.
Mhm.
Hey, did you see anybody that could have been me, guys? No?
Look at the hopeful look.
Damn it.
How about me, guys?
Hey, me, guys? Me too?
You
Yeah,
guys
Dad. Yeah, you could come play too.
You guys watching TV?
You guys playing cards?
Now, in terms of the Xavier Wood things, this is what we were going to get into before that. We didn't want to get into it. Now, though the Xavier Woods thing was seen a mile coming, that he was going to be a part of it, it all also kind of seems kind of like a bit of a hypocrisy in relation to the Zelina Vega issue and everybody else's issue, which is what we were going to get into.
Yeah.
So slightly.
Yeah, because I mean, the big thing, which we can bring up because I mean it is a Twitch related thing and it is pop culture. The biggest thing is how WWE superstars are no longer allowed to have third party platforms, such as Twitch or OnlyFans, etc. So while Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed, plays ball enough with Vince and WWE, by saying, yep, my channel up down down so popular and I'm monetizing. Yes, you guys could have, ownership of that and part of it. Like he plays ball just enough, but it does come off as favoritism and, hypocritical of them to say to other superstars, you can't do this for fun, for fans and monetize off of it. But yes, Xavier Woods, go be a host for G4
and racking everybody dime you get.
Give us some. It's totally cool, and it just the timing of it could not be worse.
It's like they just made bank on that Undertaker thing for like there was like 30 slots available
for the cameo. Yeah,
for the cameo, it was $1,000 a pop with only 30 slots, and they sold out of all of them that they made bank on. So they made 30 grand in a day on Undertaker doing that thing. And again, how fair is that to everybody else? Because again, that does fall into what we were talking about earlier too, is they got percentage checks on that merchandise sold at house shows that they're not getting anymore.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
So where does that extra money come in?
Yeah, Zelina Vega, before she was let go, it was blatantly put, she makes more money on Twitch than she does working for them.
Yeah, and
as does Paige.
Yeah, and especially now, I mean, we're talking about house shows going away because there's no more pay-per-views, which was also a big cash influx for all the wrestlers. Since there's no more pay-per-views, which means there's no more residuals, means all that money that you would get, the biggest payoffs on the pay-per-views is gone thanks to the network. So you're asking your workers who are trying to supplement their income during a pandemic when they can't work, when a lot of them aren't working every Monday and Friday night at the Performance Center, that you're not allowed to do it unless you use your real name and give us a cut. And
so many people, I've scoured, the internet. I unfortunately sometimes read comments, which is like the worst thing you could do for your mental health.
Yeah.
And so many people, fall onto that back end of, well, they make enough money already. And it's like,
go fuck yourself.
How salary works.
You don't understand how.
You don't understand how salary...
fuck yourself. I hate that argument.
I know, and it's a matter of, okay, one, learn how salary works to begin with, because not everybody is fortunate to work on salary, and if you're telling them they have enough money, then you obviously still get hourly pay, probably at less than the minimum wage.
Yeah.
But again,
not all of them make the money you think.
There is your salary, yes, but these people also have to pay a mortgage. They also have to pay for their own health care because they're independent contractors and you do not have healthcare. And as we all know as human beings, healthcare is expensive. When you are a wrestler, healthcare is all the more expensive because of injuries and surgeries. There is quite a possibility some of them are still paying off student debt. We don't know their situation.
You haven't even talked about
travel, their hotel, all that.
Yeah.
And you haven't even mentioned the ones that have children.
Exactly. I'm talking just single.
Yeah.
I'm talking bare minimum everything.
Mhm.
And for them to factor in, oh, you can't make extra money on the side based off of their own names and things that they've done outside, like Zelina Vega. She was always a cosplayer. You know, she did it before wrestling. She's using her real name. Those things should be hers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the fact that one thing is no longer allowed, but another is, and so many other wrestlers were strong-armed into the new policy, yet their matter of Twitch was how they were connecting with fans during a pandemic, when there aren't house shows, when they can't do autograph sessions or slap hands with like a 10-year-old ringside. This was their interaction. This was the means of keeping that connection with fans that they no longer have. So money aside, all that is now gone.
And also, like, okay, so we're using Xavier Woods as the prime example, and it's great. Again, he's a perfect fit.
Absolutely,
for G4.
I'm not taking that away from him at all.
He's a perfect fit. This has been his deal for like ever. When I met him, he was, you know, before all this stuff. You know, he was always that guy.
It is not a work.
But also, there is another part of it that people don't realize too, which is also seeming hypocritical. That he found out as well is this is only a ruling for main roster people.
Yeah.
NXT people can still do it.
That's kind of a double standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. NXT is not seen, I guess, in that same category as the main roster. So Adam Cole and anybody else that's in NXT is still allowed to do what they're doing.
Just want to catch up on the chat real quick from Danny. It's another reason why the WWE still labels them as independent contractors, so they don't have to pay into health care. If the wrestlers were treated like I am with a contract in terms of salary, WWE would be getting tased left and right. Tyler Breeze and Baron Corbin are still on Patreon. Just a few things to add to the conversation.
Yeah. So there definitely seems to be some favoritism there. And again, it seems like, you know, I know we were talking about the G4 thing, but there's so much to be said about Xavier being part of it.
It is, yes.
And there really is. And again, you know, up, up, down, down is huge for him. So also, we don't know what WWE is getting out of that up, up, down, down thing either. Or is it all Xavier's? You know, like, you know, New Day just got announced this week as, you know, characters for Gears of War 5.
Yeah.
You know, like they're in Gears of War now, the three of them. Henceforth, the outfits that they wore at the last event and everything.
Yes.
So again, you know, it's like
this is also why there was such a heavy influx, if anybody noticed, of so many roster members getting YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And because, you know, you can monetize off of your content. Now, while they're still allowed to keep up their YouTube channels, monetization is now no longer a thing. They can't monetize off of it.
Yeah, because Liv's got like a channel that's got a lot of followers. Ruby Riot's got one and everything.
You know, Asuka, and you know, they're using that also as a means of get to know me, interaction, etc., you know, to form that connection that's missing. Again, all of these other outlets, I mean, you really can't call them social media platforms like a Facebook or a Twitter, because it's more than that. You know, you get to know someone a little bit more when you're watching them cook a meal and just go off topic.
Or run their farm or something like that. Like Sheamus has got the workout one now.
Yeah.
He's had for over a year.
Or, you know, play a game with them on Twitch because, oh, I didn't know that you were a gamer. And then while you're on Twitch, you're just shooting the shit. You know, it's like these are all forms of interaction. Again, something that is sorely missed right now with the current state of the world. And that's all being taken away. And it's not only affecting, you know, the wrestlers, it's going to affect your fan base.
Yeah, because a lot of the wrestlers even came out and said, with the Twitch thing, they were putting the monetization aside because, yes, they were making some money on it. But also they were like, they all said this was extremely therapeutic for them personally, as well as their way of trying to help people as well. You know, to give back to people, to give them an outlet, to give them a platform to talk, even regardless of who they were, to talk and feel a part of something. And because it's depression has become such an easy thing to fall into right now and everything like that. Like, so this was like a big, broader thing than just money for all of them as well. This wasn't about just money for all of them. AJ mentioned it. Paige has mentioned it. She goes, it was as therapeutic for her as it has been for other people as well. Like, she said this saved her. She's like, I can't do what I love anymore. And I had this big hole. And now I have another way that I can be involved with everybody in another way that I love, because I can't do what I love anymore.
Right.
So this Xavier Woods thing, again, trying to bring it back to G4, it's still, again, it's very cool, but again, it's also very hypocritical. And the question is, you guys particularly see any potential blowback towards him in terms of a fan following, everything that are like, well, that's messed up. Paige can't do it. That's messed up. Zelina got fired for it. Do you think this is going to have some sort of a blowback in a negative way towards Xavier?
No, just because of what you said earlier, Dame, the way he's played ball with WWE, and because the way he's been rewarded for the company, he's been very loyal. He's always walked the straight and narrow. He was upfront about his gaming stuff, so I don't think he's going to get a blowback on him since he's a major part of the WWE.
Well, I don't necessarily mean through the company. I mean through the fans. Like, do you think the fans are going to be like, dude, that's not fair
to him?
Yeah.
Well, as a whole, not to him per se.
As a whole, they're gonna be like, that's messed up. That like you're getting to do it, and nobody else can.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's going to get any blowback. I think obviously fans will recognize that it is a double standard, but I don't think it would be to blame him, because if the WWE decides to take it away from him and treat him like everyone else, then that's not going to be his fault either. So I don't think he's going to get any negative blowback, but there is a double standard, and it's definitely not fair. Because if he's doing it, there should be no reason why Zelina is let go for doing the exact same thing that Xavier was doing.
Yeah. The one thing I definitely see coming out of this in terms of Xavier personally, I definitely see if this G4 thing grows enough, and it probably will, let's face it, because it's G4. We've wanted it for so long. We've wanted it for so long. Like, this is literally like whatever he's got left on his contract, this will probably be it. Because from here, because his big thing is, he said he's been saving his money, and he wants this whole up, down thing, and like has been like the platform for him, because he wants to open up his own gaming developing company and everything as well. He wants to open it. So this is just like, I honestly think when it comes time to like, hey, here's your contract, and no matter what number they offer him, he's gonna go, sorry guys, I'm out, I'm done. I don't need to get hurt anymore. I'm done. I'll do like whatever. I'll work with you guys, but I'm not thoroughly resigning. That's my opinion. That's what I think. Yeah. I think this is definitely going to be his last hurrah and his way out.
I believe it when I see it, because a lot of wrestlers have said that. Now, granted, for every wrestler that says I'm going to give it another 2 years, and if they say the same thing 2 years later, with Xavier, he has more
going on
to go on, and because he's got the up, down. He's got his video game business, and we always gloss over the fact that the man has a PhD. He doesn't have to do any of this at all.
Yeah, exactly. He's just having fun at this point.
Exactly. So he's in a position to do that. So, but if he does that, I see him doing that. But if he doesn't do it, I also wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. What do you think, Dan? You've been relatively quiet.
I don't. Well, I was letting everybody go. You wouldn't have to hear my big loud mouth for like 20 minutes. I don't know. I don't understand why Vince gives a shit in the first place. It doesn't affect business, as far as I know. It certainly wasn't affecting Zelina's work. Never half-assed it on TV. Didn't look like it to me. It's real hard to come out of this situation and do what they did with Zelina after and a week later see what they see with Xavier and not go, man, Vince, you look like a billionaire selfish prick like you always have been. I have nothing negative to say about the Xavier Woods thing. All of my negativity comes from if that's okay, then this should be okay. It doesn't affect your standing. It affects her standing with the WWE. Not at all. Not at all. It didn't affect her until you were like, you can't do this. I have a major problem with that.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, okay, Xavier's schedule was pretty much busy as it was now.
Yeah.
Because while they were on the road and everything like that, doing everything, he was doing these up, down, downs, like in the locker rooms, hanging out with the guys and everything like that in between whenever they can get them done. But like now it's like, okay, now he's got to worry about the show. Now he's got to worry about up, down, down. And now he's got to worry about doing whatever he's got to do with G4. You know, so it's like, this guy is like never going to see sleep for Lord knows how long now.
Xavier doesn't need the WWE. The WWE needs Xavier, as far as I'm concerned, more than he needs them.
Oh,
but I have a real problem stomaching this whole thing with how it went down this last week.
You know, I mean,
I just it doesn't make any sense that you, unless it's the money thing. There's not one reason that anybody has given me that happened the way it did. Not one reason that sat well with me that was like, well, this is why Vince did it, without me going, well, he's an asshole.
Well, I can give another reason, actually. But the results is still the same in that Vince is an asshole, because it's if we go back mentally, it's actually similar to Zack Ryder grabbing the brass ring by taking upon himself to find the creative outlet of YouTube, create Long Island Z and, you know, the true Long Island story and all that, which was gaining a lot of popularity, gaining him a fan base.
Huge.
To which Vincent Creative had to concede
for 24 hours.
For 24 hours, give him a big shine, only to take it right away. It almost feels similar to that because, you know, Zelina was just doing her thing, managing wonderfully, might I say. Also,
she was a manager.
You know,
an amazing manager, one of the best that's ever come down the pike.
But like one of the main focuses was not her; it was Andrade, and in her stepping out and doing this and gaining a fan base, you know, Creative was gonna have to start pushing her more. And it just seems like they did the same thing, where it's like, okay, well, let's put you in a few matches. Let's give you a few more spots. No.
Yeah, but that's still, but that goes back to, why wouldn't you push her more?
I agree, but we all know how this world works.
The less I say about this whole thing, the better. It's not gonna, it'll just get nastier.
Yeah.
Granted, but I mean, again, we all knew Xavier Woods was going to get it. And this is nothing negative towards Xavier Woods. This is a great position for him. He was actually made for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think he's going to add such a great element to G4.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And I think the one thing I can say is probably the only reason why they're allowing it, because he's obviously, out of everybody that's doing it, he's the biggest and most successful.
Yes.
Without a doubt. You know, he's hosted cons and all that stuff. And the only way I could see them do it is, since he is so successful, up, down, down, and everything he's done, you know, Comic Cons and all that stuff, is because they feel like he's kind of like that ambassador bridge to them to potential new fans. Whereas, yes, the other ones are gaining followers and everything like that, but that's gaining followers in their eyes just for them. Whereas Xavier's literally that bridge where, like, because every time they bring him on, they always, even when they did it last night, they said, WWE superstar Xavier Woods, whereas everything else doesn't do that.
That's something that's going to blow up in WWE's face, because you will sooner get wrestling fans that are also gamers over to G4 than you will get a video gamer to go, you know what, I'll check out wrestling. It's not going to work the same way.
It doesn't go the same way, but I think they're looking at Xavier as possibly pulling in fans they didn't have.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
And
it's going to go the opposite way.
If you think wrestling fans are fickle, let me tell you something about gamers. I think Xavier has even said that at one time or another. It's like, wrestling fans do different things.
And the other side of that, Dan, if you think wrestling fans are loyal, let me tell you about gamers. Also, just as loyal. So.
Oh, it's like the Assassin's Creed thing right now. My friend was telling me about. My friend Gary was telling me he's like, all right. First, people complain that a game is too short. Now they're complaining Assassin's Creed Valhalla is too long.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I made the observation the other day about GTA 5 where people were like, we need a new game. It's like, hold on. And I do this too. All we do is bitch about how, well, they push the same game over and over and make me pay for it all the time. Here's a game that's literally not making you pay for like a whole brand new game, and you're bitching about it.
Yeah. Well, it's like an article just came out today too in regards to Cyberpunk. One of the developers has been playing the game. He's already logged in. He's playing it on the hardest level, but he's being very meticulous with it. He has already logged in 175 hours on Cyberpunk, and he hasn't even finished the game yet.
Ooh, can't wait.
175
I'm on
hours.
board. I'm on board. Make it last. Make it last. Like, never mind.
So that's the gamers thing, It's like but now, all right. So to jump it back to the G4 thing. Okay, we've spent quite a bit on this whole Xavier was WB thing. Let's get back to G4. Okay, so now we know it's going to be a YouTube platform. So then right away after we finish watching it and enjoying and loving the fucking nostalgia and everything like that and the clips, now it's just like, now the next question is like, 1 second. Love you.
Love you.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Say such a ham.
Okay, so.
Where'd you get that?
He hates cameras. He doesn't like being onto anything, but the minute he sees a camera on,
he's like, hey!
Jeez, where'd you get that from?
I know, right? But so now it's like, okay, so now I'm sure you talk about that in your book too. Anyway,
what
I'm
book?
not in that chapter yet. I will be.
Anyway, so now it's just like, okay, now the next question we had was, okay, so is this going to be just like spot videos? Are they going to have television shows? Is X-Play going to come back? Is Cheat going to come back? Is AOTS going to come back? Because there was no mention of anybody coming back. They just said this was a reunion special. So, we don't know if Kevin's going to be involved or anything. Like, the only one that we know is definitely involved is Adam Sessler. Adam Sessler, because he's like the head of the whole thing right now. We know Adam's involved. So we know we're going to have Adam there. So we don't know if anybody else is coming back and reprising the spots. We don't know if there's going to be shows in particular because they haven't gone that far ahead. Now, do you guys see any of these shows coming back and being successful on a YouTube platform? Or do you see them just doing short videos, news bits, similar to like an IGN or something like that?
Yeah, I think they'll. The fact that G4 found an audience on the channel that a lot of people didn't even know existed means that yes, they will find an audience on YouTube. And like I said earlier about wrestling fans being loyal, gaming fans are just as loyal. So if you bring back any semblance of G4 on any type of platform that is available to the masses, they will find it, and they will look for their favorite shows, even if it doesn't have their favorite hosts, because this is what we've been missing, especially now, and I can't stress this enough, during a pandemic, if you're bringing back something that, because we're used to being locked up in our houses playing video games for hours on end. That's our wheelhouse. For everyone else that's just discovering this, like, oh my God, I can play video games, and there's shows about video games that I can watch. How long has this been on? I think this will definitely will lead to the G4 shows coming back, and it doesn't matter if it's on a YouTube channel or on a network channel. There'll be a place for them.
Man, I'm gonna have to admit, I was bored. I was really bored, and I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry to say that. I'm like, I'm not out yet. I'm not tuning out yet. I want to see what they do, but first of all, Adam Sessler, that stuff is hilarious. The Adam Sessler stuff is great. Crazy Adam, I'm up for that. I'd be okay if they just did short videos like IGN or Inside Gaming or things like that. I don't know if I have the time to commit to the old days of G4. That's also another factor in this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until they announce what the final form, when they final form it.
Yeah.
But I watched it. It was fine. But I was like, I don't know how to feel yet. I don't know.
My only question with it all is, yes, it is G4. Yes, they're going to garner all of their old fan base, probably some new fan base. But at the end of the day, how are they going to still stand apart from basically the same exact content that is all over YouTube or all over Twitch and Vimeo right now? Stuff that they did, yes, start. But now, they left it. And now they're jumping back into it. How are they going to stand out from the rest? What are they going to offer old fans and new fans?
I'm thinking, well, the one factor that I've started thinking about as we were discussing this, and even after I put the question out, was like the one thing they mentioned yesterday was they essentially put YouTube on the map. YouTube was around for how long until they started doing those around the net bits. And then it wasn't until
Twitter.
And Twitter.
Yeah.
They put YouTube and Twitter really on the map. They really did. And especially with the around the net bits. Because, yeah, YouTube back then was something like, we clicked on it once in a blue.
Mm-hmm.
Now YouTube's like a thing like everybody's on almost daily. And I know a lot of people that watch like when YouTube just had that big crash like a week or two ago, people were flipping out because they don't watch network television. They watch YouTube at night.
They're like, well, what's on TV right now?
Like everybody. So this is the other thing now too, because YouTube also, remember, they still do paid programming. And the one fear I'm starting to think about as we were talking about this was, okay, yes, they have the short bit videos and everything like that. But what if, they bring back XPlay and they bring back AOTS and they bring back Cheat, but they turn out to be paid subscription programs to watch like Cobra Kai was and everything like that. Does anybody see YouTube taking advantage of it in that respect where it's like, yeah, here's those little videos, but if you want to watch the shows, you gotta monthly subscribe to YouTube. Does anybody see that happening?
I almost expect it to happen.
Yeah.
I expect that's where it's going to go, yeah.
You think you're going to have to pay to watch the actual show?
Sure, absolutely. Because if you don't and you're on YouTube, you're that's not going to get me to watch over Funhouse at this point. That's not going to get me to watch over Inside Gaming. I've already had that void filled.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended. Go ahead.
What I could see them doing is starting off with a bunch of YouTube videos that are normal to watch, free to watch, gain that fan base, monetize just enough so that they can then start their own personal streaming service, like the G4, like G4TV, kind of like the like HBO Max,
like Hulu
Network,
and Peacock, like have them literally start their own streaming network.
Yeah, and then they can be
paid for,
and they'll be fully in control versus having to listen to a YouTube or listen to a network television.
I hope they have the patience because it's going to be a hard sell these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really do think. I hope it works out, but I think it's going to be a hard sell. Yeah.
And that's the thing too. It's like, again, yes, they were the pioneers. They started it, but now they've also created their own competition. But though also nobody's done it as big as them and everything like that. And the one thing I was thinking about too, like in terms of we've asked who's returning, but also in Crazy Adam's video, they're looking for hosts. So that kind of tells you right there also that they're not bringing everybody back either. So it's just like, okay, is this a one and done, one off for some of these people? Are some of them going to be back, or none of them?
Are they going to transition it slowly? So
I'll be the new Olivia Munn.
Yes.
Fit nose pipe.
Say nom
Nom.
Yay.
And I don't think we'll have any problem with you jumping into a big blow up pool of pudding.
Any kind of food at all? No, not at all.
Yes. And you could also be married to Jake in Vegas.
And here's the thing. Okay. He's funny. Here's the thing. I'll also jump in back first instead of knees first.
Yeah, that was
and I'll wear the whole maid outfit.
Ooh.
I knew you would wear the maid outfit. I knew you'd wear the maid outfit. There
Nobody
was
has
no
to
question.
ask me to dress in a dress. Come on.
I knew there was going to be no question of you wearing the maid outfit. Come on now. And we all know Craig's got better suits than last night's host.
Yeah.
What
yes.
do you see next week's suit? Next month's suit?
Oh.
For our last show of the year?
Awesome.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah.
Birthday suit, New Year's suit, birthday suit.
Yep, you got it.
Oh boy.
Sweet.
We already. Well, I have no doubt it's going to be amazing because you, without a doubt, stole the Halloween episode.
Oh my God,
You, without a doubt, stole the Halloween episode. That was epic.
Thank you, sir. I'm no Ron
There was
Punches, but
no-
I do my best.
I mean, I don't wear pants doing these, so I'm halfway there.
Yeah, but I definitely see them trying to go their own streaming thing because again, let's face facts. Network television is dying. That's why we're not seeing a lot of hit sitcoms or anything like that. Even like after Game of Thrones left, and literally, I would say more so after Game of Thrones left, and now with Walking Dead reaching its hiatus and Supernatural, like all the epic shows that were pulling in ratings have left or are now officially leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing new has really been hitting. Like they already, I know Black Lightning is already shutting down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That one's been canceled. I forgot a couple of them.
There was one you just mentioned like before we got on the air.
Yeah, like a couple of them have already been like shut down already because network television is dying without a doubt. I mean, Disney Plus is booming, especially now with the new season of Mandalorian. Like they're crushing it right now and everything like that.
And plus, when it does come to the streaming services, like the best one I can use is HBO Max because you can watch the current shows that they have there. Like the biggest one right now being Watchmen, but it's also where they're like, this is where you can find our old shows. They're like really banking on what was.
Yeah, which is why I like it. I also find it's not full, part of the reason why Penny Dreadful, the new one, didn't succeed was one, again, it was like a lot of people were kind of disappointed because they were like, okay, this is not what we thought what we were going to get. But also, again, people are just not tuning in anymore because there were multiple times like when we had set it to record, we were like, oh shit, we missed recording it.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's just like, dude, streaming service, I can
watch it at our leisure.
It came out this week. I could watch it like we're still like I think 1 or 2 episodes behind on Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we can watch them when we watch them and still catch up and not worry about it. It's like streaming is where it's at right now. And I honestly think
there's so much pressures in life. The last thing anyone's worried about is the pressure to, I got to start this show on time. I got to make sure all my stuff is done so I can sit down and watch this show uninterrupted.
And again, that it's like what Dan was saying too. And Xavier Woods kind of like said it in a really cool little speech. At the end, towards the end of the special was the one thing that will be missing in a sense on that G4 is if you go back to the days that we did watch G4, it literally was like Xavier Woods. He goes, I was that kid in school that got bullied. I was that one that had to hide. I was a gamer. I was the one that had to hide all these things or feel like an outcast and all that stuff. And I would have a horrible day, a terrible day. And I would get home and I knew G4 was there. And I flip it on and my day was a whole lot better because here were people that I could relate to that made me feel good that it was okay to be me and everything like that. And it's different than logging because G4, you had to turn it on at a certain time or you missed it. Whereas now, again, streaming TV, it's like, okay, I can put it on whenever I want. So you don't have that feeling. It's kind of like the Christmas morning feeling. You wake up on Christmas morning, it's like, ooh, or waiting for that favorite show like we used to.
Whereas if Christmas was every day, it's like, okay.
Yeah. Where it's like, again, like when you can watch it at your leisure, it takes that anticipation and excitement away because it's there whenever you want it. Whereas opposed to like, holy shit, 4 o'clock. Turn it on. And that's how we used to be.
Yeah, well, it's what the Cartoon Network did for Saturday morning cartoons. Saturday morning were the only time you could see your favorite cartoons. Now when they made a network out of it, 24/7, 365, Saturday mornings weren't Saturday mornings anymore. It wasn't an event.
Ultimate Pretzel was the other one I meant.
Yeah. Like when they made it's like when they made the Wizard of Oz available on VHS. It used to be it would come on once a year, and that would be the event. So they put it on VHS, you put it in anytime you want, and no longer an event. God, I miss my
That's
childhood.
true.
Yes.
That I still hold on to, actually. I have, because I have the Wizard of Oz DVD, but I don't watch it. I wait for it
To come on
for its
TV.
first airing on TV.
Christmas Story.
Christmas
Yeah.
Story. We just need to go to Christmas Story. Rudolph.
Rudolph. Yep.
There's certain movies that we do own, but we will not watch them.
Yeah, we own them to own them.
Yeah.
But they still don't get touched.
Yeah.
It's like no.
The anticipation.
Quick story about my dad. His favorite movie was Magnificent Seven. All the time. That's all he watched. It's what I was weaned on, grown on. When it came out on VHS, I gave it to him for his birthday. And he would call me when I would talk to my mom. He'd say, Sonny, guess what's coming on tonight? I said, what? Magnificent Seven. It's on the late movie. I said, Pop, you own that. He goes, yeah, but it's coming on tonight. And when
It's different. We do the same thing. So it's totally different when it's on TV.
When he passed, when we were going through his effects, guess what I found? Still in the wrapper, completely untouched.
Magnificent Seven.
His copy.
We
of
do that
Magnificent
with we do that with
Wow.
the Wedding Singer.
Uh-huh.
We do that with the Wedding Singer. We do that with Employee of the Month. We have them both,
Yeah.
but it's not the same one unless it's on television.
Yes.
It's just like no, it's on.
Like, I'll text him. There's a Wedding Singer's on right now.
I have a
Play of the
coworker.
month.
I have a employee. You shut your mouth about Employee of the Month.
No, what?
Ever speak ill of Dane Cook?
Are you talking about the Dane Cook movie?
Yes.
I love that movie.
Oh, okay.
But nobody else does. So when you said that, I was like, the Dane Cook movie?
I would say you talk junk. I'm gonna come over and cook you in the gooch.
I love that movie. It's just I've never met anybody else who actually saw the goddamn thing.
We quote that movie.
Oh,
on
we
a
quote that
weekly
movie
basis.
all the time.
Oh, I
We
love
quote
that movie. Hell yeah. Okay, I found the other person that bought the copy.
I was like, oh,
Okay.
Dan.
I was gonna say.
Dan, he's quick with a joke. You can light
But
up
yeah,
a
like
smoke.
certain movies, it's like it's not the same. But getting back to the G4 thing, I think that's gonna be a big missing element of it that did garner G4's success. Was that nerddom daily excitement and anticipation of I've had a shit day or whatever the case may be, or just the excitement in general of all right, yeah, here it comes. You know, there would be no American Ninja Warrior without the Ninja Warrior airing on G4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there would be none of that. And that anticipation, that's I think that was a big key factor to their success because you had to watch it when it was on.
Yep.
And that's going to be a big. And also, again, I think what's going to be a big challenge for them is the fact that they've also created the monster. They're the Dr. Frankenstein. They've created Frankenstein's monster, though, where it's just like, again, nerd culture is the thing now, to the point where cool people pretend to be in it and pretend to wear glasses.
Oh.
You know, women show up at Comic-Cons that know nothing, whatever, and they'll wear the most elaborate costume and everything like that, most revealing costume and everything like that, just to get noticed, but they know nothing about what they're wearing, just so they can get noticed. And that's like I think another thing that's going to be a big hurdle to come over is nerd culture's in now. It's no longer the non-in thing, and it's a select group. Now it's global. It's globally cool to be the nerd. You know, so it's like those are two big hurdles they've got to get over.
Great. That's a great. Got a Blu-ray, Dan. That's great.
Yeah, goddamn. I went HD with it, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, there it is.
Yay!
But yeah, I think those two hurdles are going to be huge for them as well. It's just getting over the fact of that nostalgia is gone, but also, again, it's not a select group anymore.
Right.
And I think that's going to be a huge hurdle to get over.
Huge.
The worst part of this movie is Jessica Simpson. Everybody else is great.
She was great in it, too.
Oh, yeah, she's fine. I'm just saying, I was like, whatever.
I don't know. So any other thoughts in terms of like hurdles they might have to get through or whatever, like whether you think the opposite or whatever?
No, I think they're fucked. I think there's gonna be. I don't think it's a hurdle. I think it's a mountain.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what else to say. There is so much other content out there that even all the points we just made, it's gonna be difficult to find that crowd again. They're gonna have the diehards. Like, I'm gonna check it out, see what happens.
Of course.
You guys are gonna check it out and see what happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But Man, that's an ask. It's a huge ask right now. I said
Exactly.
ask, not ask, by the way.
You know what? Believe it or not, it falls into what I was saying about the AEW video game. How this right now, the G4 it's a niche.
Yeah.
You're banking on nostalgia and loyalists, but there are so many other subgenres of fans, new fans, that you got to try to grab in as well. And it's so broad that it's like, how are you going to get it?
And I hope they don't try to fix the problem through big budgeting.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to fix the problem, because it's like, okay, well, everybody else is doing it, but the one thing we have that nobody else has got, money. And the problem is, to me, like, that takes away from the organic feel of what it was, or anything that's created that's good. Is that because the moment you just delve it into money, because then it's now it's manufactured and you're forcing it. It's no longer organic, and that feeling won't be there. And I just hope they don't rely on money to get them back to being number one, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Crickets.
I agree. I thought it was apropos and a perfect point that didn't need any addendum. You know.
So again, it's all a wait and see. But again, you know, like from yesterday all the way to the 28th, they have like a marathon thing going on and everything like that, and it's all for like good causes. Some of it's like to feed hunger and homeless and all that stuff. They have a lot of really cool stuff, and they're actually getting like other streamers / Twitch people, podcasters involved and everything like that, and they're being a part of it. Adam's on it a lot and everything. Adam's definitely the main one doing all this, because all the videos are around him with a couple of spots here from Kev or whatever, but it's mostly Adam that's behind it. So I really don't even know if anybody else is going to be back. At least bring Kev back. I don't think Kev's doing much. Like, we know Blair is busy doing his thing. We know Olivia's. I know Olivia Munn's got like another show coming around or something like that. Everybody's got a thing, but like, I got to bring at least one or two people back, along with some whatever new hosts that they bring, like these four. Just saying.
I'm just saying I'm talented at something. I don't know what.
With hilarity and coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And pork roll.
Hey, man, Nerdherders. Again, we sound like a broken record because everybody else said it, but we said it first. Because after that, we were one of the first. We exist because they left.
Yeah,
exactly.
So stay gone, you bastards. No.
We fill holes.
It's like the adopted parents leaving their kids in an orphanage only for them to show up 30 years later and go, hey, we heard you're famous now. Give us your money.
Bobby, it's me, your dad, Roberto. I seen you on the ESPN. I did that too good today.
You did. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, God.
We could be partners like Tiger Woods and his daddy.
He even got the head tilt thing going. What the fuck is wrong with you?
There's your dad. He's so handsome. I do all these caricatures way too well.
Damon's really good in person.
Caricature.
Very good.
Okay.
I should dress like what? Oh my God, we should totally do the Water Boy and Fairuza Balk as Halloween one year.
I'm so down.
Sometimes, all of a sudden, I have 90-some cousins.
I'm so down for that.
I will totally be the Water Boy. I will totally be the Water Boy.
Take it, Craig.
And on that note, and just like to paraphrase, I will be your Huckleberry. Damien will be your Water Boy, gentlemen and ladies. We have exhausted all our conversation about G4. About
and
then some convention, Wonder Woman 84, and other various topics we talked about, dancing in and around the professional wrestling, and landing back on what we love the most, video games. At some point, though, we do have to discuss what book that has been talked in and around this entire night. My favorite former female professional wrestler and soon-to-be author is currently penning her wares and peddling out for all to see. We mentioned YouTube quite a bit. You can find her on YouTube under Foxy Fox because She was once a wrestler, always a wrestler. So I can only promote you so much and, you know, plug the shit out of you, but it'd be
Whoa.
much better
Hey now.
if you plug the shit out of yourself.
This is a different show.
So I will turn it over to the woman who put the fox in Foxy Foxy.
Oh,
BB,
dear.
it's all you.
I'm so much better at this when I'm not speaking and I'm just behind a keyboard.
You can do it.
Okay.
You can
behind the
do it.
Pretend you're behind a keyboard.
As Craig mentioned, I am Foxy Foxy, former independent professional wrestler, wrestling manager, referee, and ring announcer.
And ring crew.
And ring crew. Oh my God. I also write. I am now writing my wrestling autobiography. For more information on that, you can check out my YouTube page, youtube.com/FoxyFoxy, FOXY, my blog, which is vivafoxyfoxy.blogspot.com, as well as following me on any social media platform of choice, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram at vivafoxyfoxy. You can also join my Patreon page to help support editing fees for when the manuscript is finished. It is almost done with the first draft. That's patreon.com/FoxyFoxy. That is FOXY. The book features wrestling stories, love, drugs, depression, and a whole lot more.
And fucking.
Well, not in great detail,
Damn
but...
it.
Implied.
I do mention that I have an above average husband at certain points.
See,
No, but I will.
Yes.
Have to add another chapter. Perfect. And I'm looking forward to chapter 13, the broken toe story. Thank you so much.
But it also again,
Yeah.
not doing this. I'm not doing this as her husband. I'm not doing this as her best friend. The one thing when I reposted that I kind of try to put in there, and again, and it's true. Before meeting her, the stuff that I had heard about, but also in the ride with her on the portions I was with, and the things that I did see that are not in front of the curtain, it's behind the curtain. The stuff that it's the wrestling is, the platform.
Yeah.
But it's everything else. It's the growth of the individual, finding your identity, the things that she went through, battled through, and everything like that. I'm trying not to give any of it away.
Things you didn't even know about till recently.
Things you didn't know about. There's so much that, some of you have heard things about wrestling, what happens behind the scenes, but it delves a lot darker than that. And again, the great thing about this is from a perspective where she doesn't have to respect a company by putting something out there. She doesn't have to worry about burning a bridge. She's giving it to you as plain as day.
Those bridges have been renovated and replaced already.
Yeah, because there's no worry about burning bridges or anything like that, because she can be fully honest about it in her ways, and this is not a former wrestler or retired wrestler or a legend telling somebody and they're writing it. This is directly from her. And again, the stories that you will hear, the things you will hear behind it are just absolutely amazing. And it's, from a reader standpoint, it's amazing. But also, again, this is going to be a read for people that need this, male or female, transgender, anybody that battling depression, battling chemical dependencies, like all sorts of things, finding your identity, which even people that are grown adults have a hard time doing, their 40s, 50s, finding their identities. This is going to be a hell of a read across the board. So even if you're not a wrestling fan, this is also a life book. And I'm telling you guys, again, this is not any form of favoritism. This is going to be a story to be heard.
Make me cry.
It's the truth.
Oh my God.
Well, no, I have only known you for half a year, Veronica, and I'm using your government name. But I wanted to tell you that doing this endeavor is obviously not easy. Anytime you have a chance to tell your story, because I firmly believe that everyone has a story to tell, and you've worn many hats and you've gone down many roads. And I always found professional wrestlers as a whole, is a different breed of person. Not everyone can do what you do. Obviously, if it was easy, anyone could do it. But you stand apart because you not only did it, but you did it well. And like I said, you wore many hats. What I want to say to you, to piggyback on top of what your husband said, that no matter how this comes out, and he didn't have to sell it to me because I was going to buy it anyway, but I'm incredibly proud of you, seriously, and everything you've done, and everything that you will do going forward as an author, but as a wife and a mother, and just a person who is very passionate about what she does, whether it is being a wife, a mother, a wrestler, or a gamer. I'm incredibly proud of you for what you've done so far and what you will be doing, and it's an honor to know you.
Oh. She's gushing over here. This is sick. She's totally not used to stuff like this.
I'm not, and you guys don't understand how much I needed to hear something like this.
Hey, Foxy.
Yeah, it's been a rough week.
Hey, Foxy.
Hi.
You're all right.
You alright?
Yeah.
Bringing it back down to earth. Dan Calachico, ladies and gentlemen.
They smack you back down to earth. You're okay.
You're okay. You're all right.
No, I went. There's a reason why I went to you for speaking out, and there's a reason why that I'm very happy this book is coming out. There's a lot to tell that people are gonna be like, "Oh, really? Okay." So I'm looking forward to it. Quite frankly, I'm looking forward to the ashes.
Oh, honey, so am I.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay, well, everyone was plugging. Can everybody else finish their plugging now?
All right, so well, actually, you do the plug stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I plugged everything I did. Now
She did plug.
As soon as I get off this phone call, I'm gonna plug.
All right. Well, anyway, as far as me, you can catch me on YouTube and Instagram at dvargas802. I am working on kind of a project deal. If you've been following him Instagram, you kind of see what's going on there. So just stay tuned. I can't put too much out of it, but it's definitely it's in the vein of the Dub Smashes, but it's also very personal. In the sense where, I've been battling anxiety, I've been battling depression like that, and it's putting a creative and comedic spin on it. So you just have to wait and see as I put more details out on that. Of course, I'm on Facebook, and of course, follow us on Nerdherders. Next.
Go ahead, Dan.
I have a new great. Come to me, fuck it up. I have a new trailer for the channel up. I would very much appreciate it if you went to it. And watch the other videos at youtube.com/Dan83, which you will find this finished project. And on all social media platforms at Dan83. I got nothing else right now.
Excellent. Well, I can see your nothing and double that. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at ronfunches.com. And actually, it's pronounced Ron Funches, but it's spelled Craig Lagan, CraigLiggeons. And if you're also in tune to comic book stuff, from March of this year, you can go to my other podcast called Comic Book Gurus. I'm hoping to be back in the studio in March, so it'll be a full year from the time I did my last podcast to the new one. You can find that on WMMR.com. For Foxy Fox, for Damien Dragon, Dan Calachico, I wanted to say to Dame, first of all, can you see me? Are you there?
I can see you. I can see you.
You are my nerd herder.
You're my nerd herder.
Dan?
Yeah?
You're my nerd herder.
You're my nerd herder.
Fox?
Love.
Can you see me?
Perfectly clear.
Okay. If you can see me, you're my nerd herder.
You're my nerd herder.
Oh my God! I didn't know if you could see that, but thank you. Oh my God! For all four of our nerd herders, it's been our time of the month. We are bleeding out necessarily. We need to stop the flow. Probably see a doctor. Thank you all for joining us, either on Twitch, on chat, for listening to us gab. We'll see you a month from the last Wednesday in December for our final show of the year. Holiday episode, year-end wrap-up special. Tomorrow, as we tape this, it is Thanksgiving tomorrow. We are thankful for you. We are thankful to be in good health. More than a quarter of us can't celebrate Thanksgiving this year. So hug your loved ones from a social distance. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Let's beat this thing so we can see and touch each other in the coming year. For Craig Lagans, Foxy Fox, Damien Dragon, Dan Colachico, this has been Nerdherders, and we'll see you next month. Bye, guys.